You are 9 years old the first time you see someone get knocked out cold on a sidewalk in Englewood, Chicago. It is 6:47 in the evening. The streetlights have just flickered on. A man goes down like his spine has been removed, and his body hits the concrete the way a bag of wet laundry falls off a chair. Nobody calls 911. Somebody picks up the money that spilled from his pocket. You walk home past a gym on 63rd Street with a hand-painted sign in the window that says Chicago Southside Boxing Club, $5 a month. You don't go in. Not yet. But you look through the glass for a long time, long enough that your dinner gets cold, long enough that your mother calls your name twice from the top of the stairs before you move. You are 11 when you finally push the door open. The smell hits you first, sweat and rubber and something older than both, like the building itself has been absorbing punishment for decades and never let it go. There are 12 guys working the floor. Nobody greets you. A man named Raymond Okafor is wrapping a fighter's hands in the corner. Raymond is 53 years old. He has a nose that has been broken 4 times in 4 different decades, a voice that sounds like gravel in a coffee can, and he has not smiled in what looks like several years. He glances over at you once. Then he goes back to the rap. You sit on a wooden bench near the door for 45 minutes watching. When everyone leaves, Raymond says, without looking up, same time tomorrow. Don't be late. You are not late. Not once in 3 years. Raymond teaches you things that are not taught in gyms with mirrors and branded merchandise and personal trainers who learned boxing on YouTube. He teaches you that a jab is not a punch. It is a question. You throw it, and the answer tells you everything. Where the man's weight is sitting, whether he's loading up on the right hand, whether he respects you, or has already decided you're soft. You throw 4,000 jabs in the first month. Not combinations. Not hooks. Jabs. Your left shoulder aches so badly by week 3 that you sleep on your right side with your arm dangling off the mattress like a dead thing. You don't stop. There is nothing else to stop for. Home is a 2-bedroom apartment where your mother works nights and your older brother plays music too loud and the radiator either roasts the place or does nothing. The gym is the only room in your life where silence is a choice. By the time you are 14, you are fighting in the PAL circuit out of a rec centre in Bridgeport. You go 11-2 in your first season. The 2 losses are to the same kid from Gary, Indiana, a southpaw named Marcus Webb, who hits you with the same left straight both times because you don't respect his rear hand. You watch both fights on a borrowed iPhone in Raymond's office. You watch them 11 times each. You learn that your left elbow drops 4 inches every time you extend the jab, and that it takes you 0.4 seconds to recover your guard after you throw the straight right. Marcus Webb doesn't need 0.4 seconds. He needs 0.2. That 0.2 second gap is a door. He walks through it both times. You fix the elbow in 6 weeks. You fix the recovery time in 4 months by drilling the pull back until it's no longer a thought, until it's a reflex that happens below the level of decision making, the way blinking happens when something comes at your eye. When you fight Marcus Webb again at 17, you stop him in the 7th round with a right hand that he never sees coming, because your jab has already shifted his weight back onto his rear heel and tilted his chin up by exactly the degree that makes the right hand a closing argument instead of a guess. You've set that right hand up over 6 rounds and 43 jabs. He thinks you've been missing. You haven't been missing. You've been measuring. Raymond drives you home that night in his 2004 Chevy Impala with the heat that only works on the passenger side. The driver's side vent just blows cold air no matter what you do to the dial, and Raymond drives with his coat on and doesn't complain. He doesn't say much on the ride. He says, "You got it." He taps the steering wheel once. That's all. You look out the window at the expressway lights. You don't say anything back. You understand that this is the highest praise Raymond Okafor has ever given anyone, and that responding to it would make it smaller. Raymond dies of a stroke the following March. He is found in the gym on a Tuesday morning by a 17-year-old named Deshaun, who came in for the 6 a.m. open session and found the lights already on and Raymond on the floor near the heavy bags with the radio still going. You find out by a text from Deshaun at 8:14 a.m. You are in school, you put your phone in your pocket and sit through 2 more periods. You go to the gym that afternoon anyway, you wrap your own hands, you hit the heavy bag for 2 hours by yourself. Then you sit in the locker room and eat the sandwich you packed and look at a point on the wall for a while. The other guys leave. The lights hum. Eventually you get up and go home. There is nothing else to do, so you keep training. You turn pro at 19 under a manager named Victor Stein, who works out of a suite on the 22nd floor of a glass building in River North. Victor is not Raymond. Victor wears a watch that costs more than Raymond earned in 5 years of running that gym, and he shakes your hand the way men shake hands when they're thinking about something else. But Victor knows people, and knowing people is a different kind of currency than the kind you grew up without. Your first 8 pro fights are in venues that don't make the highlight channels. A casino ballroom in Joliet, a hotel conference room in Hammond with a ring set up between the banquet tables, a 1,200-seat arena in Rockford where half the seats stay empty and the other half belong to people who are mainly there for the open bar. You go 8-0. You look good doing it, not spectacular. Good. You are learning that professional boxing is a different sport from amateur boxing, the way that driving on a freeway at 90 miles per hour is different from driving loops in a parking lot. The pace is different. Professionals do not come forward recklessly. They conserve, they feint, they make you miss by half an inch, and they make you pay for the energy you spent on the punch that didn't land. They make the whole thing look like a slow negotiation between two people who understand exactly what's at stake and are in no particular hurry to end it incorrectly. You learn to use the first 2 rounds as a diagnostic tool. You find the man's timing, the rhythm at which he exhales before he throws, the tell in his left shoulder before the hook, the way his right foot slides back 4 inches when he's been hurt and is buying time. Every professional fighter has a code. The first 2 rounds are reading, rounds 3 through 6 are writing. Everything after that is just making sure the sentence ends the way you intended. You are 22 when you fight Ernesto Calderon at the Buick Pavilion in Chicago in front of 8,400 people. Calderon is from Guadalajara. He is 18-1, and his one loss was a split decision in Mexico City that half the boxing internet still argues about 3 years later. You are 14-0. Calderon's team has taken the fight because they believe you are a stepping stone, a name with a decent record and limited elite experience, someone their man beats on the way to something bigger. They are not wrong to believe that. You are unproven at this level. You know it. Victor knows it. The 8,400 people in the building know it. You stop Calderon in the 9th round. The right hand lands on the button, the precise anatomical point at the tip of the chin where the jaw transfers kinetic force directly to the brainstem, inducing a brief involuntary shutdown that no amount of conditioning can fully prevent. He is down before his body registers the event. The crowd does something you have never heard in a building before, not cheering. Something that comes before the cheering, a half second of collective silence, the sound of 8,400 people processing the same impossible image at the same moment, before the noise catches up to what the eyes have already seen. You walk to the neutral corner and wait. The referee waves it off at 2:31 of round 9. You don't celebrate. You look at Calderon on the canvas and you think about the jab and the 4,000 reps in month 1 and Raymond's Impala with the cold driver's side vent, and you understand that the distance between the boy who looked through the gym window at age 9 and the man standing in this ring right now is not a gift. It is a number. It is a specific, computable, irreversible accumulation of correct choices made while in pain. Then Victor introduces you to a man named Garrett Foles. Garrett runs a promotional company out of Las Vegas with a television deal and financing that doesn't ask too many questions about the direction it flows. He has a firm handshake and a warm laugh, and he uses your first name 4 times in the first 2 minutes of conversation, which is a thing that men like Garrett learn to do on purpose. You sign with him. You sign because the purses are real and the fights are on cable, and because your mother is 51 years old and has been cleaning hotel rooms since before you were born. You know something is wrong with the room. You sign anyway. You tell yourself it's temporary. 3 fights and 14 months later, a man in a suit you've never seen before meets you in a parking structure in Las Vegas and tells you that your next opponent has agreed to go 8 rounds and no further. He doesn't need to go down dramatically. No one is asking for theatre. Just 8 rounds, a points win, and a number wired to an account before the weekend. The number makes your mother's mortgage irrelevant for the rest of her life. You think about it for a full day. You drive around. You don't call anyone. You eat dinner alone at a diner on Flamingo Road and drink 3 cups of coffee and look out the window at the traffic. You think about Raymond on the floor of the gym with the radio still on. You accept. The fight goes 8 rounds. You win on points. It looks clean enough on paper. You shower, dress slowly, and then you sit in the parking structure of the MGM Grand in your car for 22 minutes before you start the engine. A family walks past in the aisle to your left. A couple argues quietly near the elevator. A parking attendant on the level above you is playing music from his phone. The concrete smells like exhaust and something chemical. You start the car eventually. You pull out. You don't look back at the building. You are 31 now. Your record is 31-1. The one loss is a decision you don't discuss in interviews, and journalists have learned not to push. You live in a house in Oak Park with a yard you rarely use, and a kitchen that is too clean because you are not home enough to make it dirty. You still train 6 days a week out of a gym in Wicker Park that you pay for yourself. Cash. No promotional logos on the walls. You are still elite. The jab is still a question. The right hand is still a closing argument. The mechanics still work the way Raymond built them 20 years ago in a gym that is now a cell phone store on 63rd Street. Some mornings you drive south on your way to the expressway and you pass the building without meaning to. The sign is gone. There's a poster in the window for a phone plan. You don't slow down. You keep moving. Because stopping is not something the body knows how to do anymore, and because Raymond would have told you the same thing, keep moving. Keep asking the question. Keep reading before you write. The ones who make the highlights are the ones who got famous fast and burned the same way. The ones who last, the ones who are still sharp at 31, still standing, still building the sentence round by round, they are assembled from something that doesn't photograph well. Repetition, silence, A cold drive home in an old Impala, a bench by a gym door where nobody greets you, and you sit down anyway, and you come back the next morning, and the morning after that, and you do not stop. That's what this channel is about. Subscribe, and don't miss a single level.